carried a knife and gun and intended to use them.
One of the worst things I ever witnessed,
My grandpa is the motherfucking Zodiac Killer.
A 50-year-old mystery was recently solved.
It's a sex crime. He's doing this for gratification, and I feel that he should definitely seek aid.
all stabbed in several places. Reason at all, just a hooded man came up with a pistol drawn on
I want
him.
to start off by saying this is not just based on physical appearance.
Biggest mystery in crime history.
I don't know how to say this, but the biggest mystery in crime history has finally been solved. The Zodiac Killer, one of the most chilling and elusive figures in American criminal history. For over 50 years, this shadowy figure taunted the police, terrified the public, and left a trail of unsolved murders that baffled even the most seasoned investigators. Despite countless efforts, the true identity of the Zodiac Killer has remained a mystery. Until now. Like and sub for more content. Our journey begins in the late 1960s, in the quiet towns of Northern California. On December 20th, 1968, the lives of two teenagers, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, were brutally cut short on a deserted road in Vallejo. They were gunned down in cold blood, the first confirmed victims of a killer who would go on to terrorize an entire region. 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, the killer struck again. This time, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mago were the targets, attacked as they sat in their car. Mago survived the onslaught, giving the police their first glimpse of the man who would soon become known as the Zodiac Killer, a man with a chilling desire to kill and a need for recognition. These murders were just the beginning. The Zodiac's reign of terror would span nearly 2 years, with at least 5 confirmed murders and more victims claimed in his taunting letters. But it wasn't just the killings that made the Zodiac infamous, it was the twisted game he played with the public. On August 1st, 1969, 3 major newspapers received identical letters from someone claiming to be the killer. These letters contained a cryptic message, broken into 3 parts, which the Zodiac claimed would reveal his identity. But instead of a name, the cracked code revealed something far more sinister, a manifesto of sorts, where the killer described the thrill he found in taking human lives. The Zodiac's letters were more than just confessions. They were a direct challenge to the police and the public. He demanded that his ciphers be published on the front pages, threatening more violence if his demands were not met. The ciphers, filled with strange symbols and misspelled words, became a puzzle that would haunt cryptographers for decades. One of the most infamous of these, the 340 cipher, remained unsolved for over 50 years. When it was finally cracked in December 2020, the message within was chilling. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. But even with the ciphers decoded, the Zodiac's identity remained a mystery. The taunting letters continued, and despite the best efforts of law enforcement, the killer seemed always to be one step ahead. As the Zodiac continued to terrorize Northern California, the police were inundated with tips and leads, but each one seemed to end in frustration. One of the most prominent suspects was Arthur Lee Allen, a man with a disturbing past who seemed to fit the profile perfectly. Allen was identified by one of the survivors, owned a watch that bore the Zodiac symbol, and had a history of violence. Yet, despite these connections, there was never enough evidence to bring him to justice, and he died in 1992. His name forever linked to the case, but never proven guilty. Other suspects came and went, each one raising hopes that the Zodiac might finally be unmasked, only to fade back into obscurity. The case became one of the most notorious unsolved mysteries in American history, with law enforcement and amateur sleuths alike poring over every clue, every letter, every word the Zodiac had ever written. The Zodiac's final confirmed letter was sent in 1974, after which he vanished as suddenly as he had appeared. For years, the case went cold, and the Zodiac Killer became a ghost, an enigma that haunted the American psyche, his identity a puzzle that seemed destined never to be solved. But just when it seemed that the Zodiac Killer would remain an unsolved mystery, new developments have emerged. Developments that could finally bring this decades-old case to a close. In 2023, a man on TikTok began posting videos that quickly went viral. In these videos, he claimed that his father, or in some versions his grandfather, was the infamous Zodiac Killer. He presented what he described as personal knowledge, linking his relative to the murders that had terrorized California over half a century ago. These claims were met with both intrigue and skepticism. Could it be true? After all these years, had the Zodiac Killer been hiding in plain sight, living an ordinary life while his crimes went unsolved? The man's videos sparked a wave of renewed interest in the case, with millions of people following along, desperate to know if this could finally be the breakthrough everyone had been waiting for. As these claims gained traction, law enforcement agencies were once again thrust into the spotlight. The public demanded answers. Would these new revelations finally lead to the unmasking of the Zodiac Killer? Was this viral sensation merely a ploy for attention? Or was there something more to it? Investigators have yet to confirm or deny the legitimacy of these claims, and the public remains on edge, waiting for the next development. Could DNA evidence, advanced technology, or a long-overlooked clue finally bring the Zodiac Killer to justice? Or will this case continue to baffle and frustrate, leaving us with more questions than answers? The Zodiac Killer's legacy is one of fear, mystery, and a stark reminder of how one person can instill terror into the hearts of millions. His crimes, his letters, and his taunts have cemented his place as one of the most notorious figures in the annals of American crime. But more than that, the Zodiac represents a puzzle, one that has consumed the lives of investigators, codebreakers, and true crime enthusiasts for over 50 years. And now, as we stand on the brink of what could be the most significant breakthrough in this case, we are left to wonder, will we finally learn the truth? Or will the Zodiac Killer's identity remain one of the greatest mysteries in American history,